Today I'm traveling to Sosnowiec, a city in southern Poland that has gained a reputation of one of the worst places to live. If you collect everything that is said about it, you might think that this is where the hell on earth is located. Let's see if everything is really so bad and what can be expected from Sosnowiec. Hello everyone from Poland, and today I came to Sosnowiec. Sosnowiec is a very specific city, special city of Poland with not so good reputation. Yes, in any country, in any region, you have some cities that not so good. We have a lot of different tops, top best places, top worst places, and if we will talk about Poland, Sosnowiec is one of the cities which appear in almost any top of worst cities of Poland, of worst places to visit in Poland. You can find also a lot of jokes about Sosnowiec, such as what is the best part of Sosnowiec. It's a tram from Sosnowiec to Katowice and other like that. And today I will walk in this city and will find if this city is really bad, or maybe it's just a bad luck and something not real. So let's go for a small walk in Sosnowiec.
I want her to notice what I don't notice. Space between us now, it's just like miles, and I've only ever fit inside the shadows, but I'm here, I'm here.
Now in Sosnowiec you can find a lot of tourists. Yes, of course you can find one or two or maybe several hundreds of tourists in Sosnowiec, but not a lot of groups or something like that, because to be honest, when I look to Sosnowiec, there are not a lot of really interesting places, or even in other words, you can find a lot of more interesting places near Sosnowiec, but to be honest, it wasn't the case all the time. Even more, before the start of the Great War, it was a very touristic place. Not exactly here, but to the south of Sosnowiec. Now it's in one of Sosnowiec districts. Here is a sign of three emperors. And before the First World War, it was a border between three major empires: German Empire, Austro-Hungarian Empire, and Russian Empire. And a lot of tourists came exactly to that place. It was something from 3 to 8,000 people each week, or something like 200,000 tourists every year, a huge number at this period of history. And a lot of people before the Great War, they knew a lot about this place, about no, not Sosnowiec, it was it has another name at this time, but it was really popular place, popular attraction. Why so? First of all, because of differences. It's not like now we are walking from one European country to another, and sometimes we can't even find the border and some differences when we, for example, came from Poland to Czech Republic or to Slovakia or any other border. But at the beginning of 20th century, this border, with this border came also a lot of differences. How people live, how they look, what do they eat, and all these things were dramatically different. When you came from, for example, German Empire to Russian Empire, it was completely another world, another galaxy, and that's why a lot of people, mostly German, they wanted to came here and to look at three different mentalities, three different empires in one place. So it was one of the main attractions of this time. And of course, now there are not a lot of touristic roads here in Sosnowiec, but I hope that in future here we can find also some interesting roads, some interesting attractions, and here will be a lot of tourists like it was in the beginning of 20th century. And now at this place, near these two rivers, where there were a border of three empires, it is a sign that says that it's now a point which connects different countries, and now we are building a united European Union.
Won't she turn around? Won't she look at me?
And if we talk about Poland, one of the main pluses of Poland is a lot of castles, a lot of market squares, almost in any city, small or big, or even in some villages, you can find a castle, or you can find a marketplace, usually and a marketplace and a castle. Here in Sosnowiec, to be honest, you can't find any market squares. It's because of the history of this city, because it's not a city that grew from Middle Ages. Yes, it is a city that appeared from a union of different villages. None of the villages had its own marketplace, so in Sosnowiec you can't find a marketplace too. But you can find a castle here, and it is quite old. It is the oldest building of Sosnowiec. Looks really interesting. For years and years, scientists thought that it is from 16th or 17th century, but it is older. Now we know that it's older. It's from the end of the Middle Ages. No one knows exactly when it was built, but now it looks completely different from this castle in the Middle Ages, because now it's an opened one. Of course, in the middle of the castle we can find now a gallery. But in the Middle Ages there were some fortifications, some water fortifications too, and it was very strong stronghold here. Anyway, now it's a nice place to visit. You can walk here. You can also walk to a park which is located near the castle, and have a walk near the river. You can sit in the shadow of the trees, and it's a nice place to visit in Sosnowiec. Now I'm standing in the center of Sosnowiec on the street Mordzejowska, and here is one of really historical places of Sosnowiec, and here we can also find why this city have not so good reputation right now, because earlier it was only a village, but very big village. It got status of the city only in 1902, and at this time population of Sosnowiec was already 60,000 citizens. Why it was a village? An answer is pretty simple, because it was a part of Russian Empire at that times, and because of some rebellions that was in Poland against Russia at that times. Russian administration, Russian Empire, they didn't give any permissions for a city status. to any Polish cities. And only in 1902 Sosnowiec got its status of the city. And before that, on this street exactly, we can find a lot of buildings that were built earlier, and they were built without proper documentation, without proper projects. And also, if we will look at the map of Sosnowiec, we can find a really uncommon position of streets. And the reason of this is an absence of a general plan of the city. Before it became a city, Sosnowiec, so anyone could build their houses like they wanted, like they knew how to build it. And even now we have a really strange plan of Sosnowiec. Often when I'm traveling to different cities, I like to go to some local places, to some bars, restaurants, and often I also find them when I'm looking at the map. And so was in Sosnowiec too, but here I found a beer bar, and it's a self-service beer bar. And for me, it's the first time when I saw such kind of beer bars. Quite interesting concept here. So you can have a card, and by this card you can drink any beers that you want from, I think, 10 milliliters or something like that. And it's quite interesting because you can try different kinds of beer. And also here in this place, Cesarska, in Sosnowiec, you can find a really good selection of beers. And also in Sosnowiec you can find some really interesting palaces. It's not palaces of aristocrats, it's more bourgeois palaces. And here I am standing near palace of Szolens. They were entrepreneurs of end of 90s, beginning of 20th century. And here in Sosnowiec there were a lot of different mines. Even now we have a lot of different factories in Sosnowiec. And of course this region was quite wealthy too, with some wealthy families. And some of families, they built palaces for themselves. And exactly this palace, which is now a court, you can find almost in the city center. A lot of other palaces are far away from center, but exactly this one you can watch, I think, 10 minutes by foot from the city center. And it is also a really contrast, because near this palace you can find a lot of buildings from Soviet period with different architecture, with some minimalistic style. And here you can also watch this interesting and really cute palace from the beginning of 20th century. So here it is, it's the end of my video from Sosnowiec, and of course a question: is it worth it? Is it really the worst city in Poland? And answering this question, I want to say that nobody said me why it is the worst place or could be the worst city in Poland. Not from citizens of Sosnowiec, and also no one from other cities didn't say me why is it so bad. Yes, of course, there are some reasons why it can be one of the worst cities, like its ecology problems, but to be honest, a lot of different Polish and Bulgarian cities has almost the same ecology problems, like Sosnowiec, with some economical problems or others. It's not the only city in Poland where you can find such kind of problems, but the main reason maybe it's because it was a border between countries, and it is often that from one side you want to say something not really good to another side of the border, and I think it's the reason. But to be honest, Sosnowiec is maybe not the best city in Poland, but really nice. It's a good city with some good attractions, good places, good people here, and I think that it's a stereotype that is just a stereotype and nothing else. So that's all for today. Subscribe to this channel and see you in next videos from travel, in next travel vlogs. Bye.